Right, okay, circles and sectors, okay? Circles you've done before, sectors maybe, maybe not. It depends on what level you did. Right, okay? So circles and sectors, okay? So I'll start, we're just doing area, we're still on area. The chapter is area and volume, right, okay? But we haven't got on to any volume yet. So area is two-dimensional, as in it's flat, okay? So the area of that circle, right, is how much space is inside this circle. So the area of a circle, girls, is pi r squared, right, where r is the radius of the circle. Right, you all know what a radius of the circle is? Right, pi, girls, use the button on your calculator, right? In primary school they told you pi was 3.14, yeah? Okay, maybe in primary school you might have even used 3.1, right, okay? Actually, pi is a big long decimal that goes forever, right? You need more decimal places now, so use the pi button on your calculator. Do you all know where the pi button on your calculator is? The pi button on your calculator is down here at the bottom over the by 10 to the power button. See the by 10 to the power button? It's here. So if you just press shift and the by 10 to the power button, it brings up pi, right? Now when you put it into the calculator first, it'll come up as pi, right? But if you want it as a decimal, press S to D. Right, and 3.141592654, and on it goes. It doesn't stop there, it goes forever, right? But that's all the calculator numbers they show. Is that right? Okay, so if they don't tell you what pi to use, right, so if they don't say use pi is 3.14, or use pi, sometimes they say pi is 22 over 7. 22 over 7, pi is an irrational number, as in it cannot be written as a fraction, right? So sometimes 22 over 7 is an approximation. Look at 3.1415, remember some of those numbers there a minute. 3.14159, right? Look at 22 over 7. 22 over 7 equals, S to D it's 3.14285, so it's slightly different, isn't it? Right, okay, so 22 over 7 is an approximation that sometimes they want you to use, okay? But never use it unless they tell you to use it, okay? Right, that's pi. Also, girls, when you're doing some of these questions, they're dibbles for giving you the diameter of the circle. Remember the diameter of the circle? Tell me about the diameter of the circle. It's how many radii? It's 2 radii. So if they give you the diameter, you need the radius for the formula. And any formula I'll be giving you over the next 2 weeks, it's always radius you use. And they're terrors, lads, for giving you the diameter and hoping that you cop on that you've to have it. And the amount of people that forget to have it is just unreal, right? Okay, so don't be that person, okay? Remember to have it. The circumference, girls, of a circle. Does anyone know what the circumference means? Yeah, it's the distance all around. So if you were to start here and walk the whole way around the circle, how far would you walk? Right, does anyone know a different word for circumference? Sometimes they call it circumference length. They call it the length of the circle, right? And if it wasn't a circle, girls, the distance around the outside would be called the perimeter, wasn't it? Okay, so these formulas are in the log tables. In the log tables, I think it's called length, right? Okay, right, and the formula for circumference is 2 pi r. So that's 2, there's no sign, so that's 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. Okay, please note it's radius again, not diameter. Okay, so it's 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. This is pi multiplied by the radius to be squared. Okay, when there's no sign, they mean you to multiply. Is that alright? Okay, we've seen those before, you've used those before, but just from now on, make sure you use the pi button on your calculator. Okay, right. Sometimes though, girls, they don't give you a whole circle. They give you a pizza slice, right? Okay? So a pizza slice, and I'll be all starving by the end of this class, right? Okay? So a pizza slice, girls, is called a sector. This is the sector of a circle, right? Okay? So a sector, right? So we don't have the whole circle, because if you had the whole circle, this is what you'd have. So you don't have the whole circle, you just have a slice out of the circle. Is that alright? When they give you a sector, girls, they have to give you the angle in here, right? Now, I'm going to give you a Greek letter. I know Greek letters are really confusing, but the reason I'm going to give you the Greek letter is because that's what's in the log tables, okay? So I just want you to have seen it before, okay? So they have to give you the measure of this angle, right? So they call the measure of this angle theta. Now they could easily call it x or call it y, right? I don't know why they insist on calling it a Greek letter. It's a 0 with a kind of a line across it, right? Okay, right, and that's pronounced theta, and it's a Greek letter, right? Don't ask me which letter it is, right? Okay, I know alpha is A and beta is B, but theta, O, who knows, right? Okay, is that right? So they call it theta, and it's just a letter, right? So it's just a measure of that angle, so don't be worried about it, right? The reason I'm giving it to you is it's in the log tables, and I want you to get used to seeing it. Is that right? Okay, so if you want to get the area of the sector, girls, so if you were to get the area of the whole circle, it would be pi r squared, wouldn't it? Right, but you don't have the whole circle, you only have a fraction of the circle. So what you do is to work out what fraction of the circle you have, you put that angle, which they will give you put that angle, theta, out of 360. Why 360? Where did I get 360? Yeah, so whole circle is 360. So it's theta over 360, and that's the fraction of the circle you have.
You multiply it
And you multiply it by pi multiplied by r squared. Okay? That's if they ask you for the area of the circle, or the sector. Sorry? Yeah, it's just the size of the angle. So look, will I just write theta equals size of angle, right? So it's just a Greek letter they used instead of x or a or b or whatever, okay? And it's in the log tables, that's why I'm using this one, because this is the formula. When you look it up, this is the one what you'll get. Okay, is that alright? Now, yeah. Sorry? You'll be given the radius, yeah. Unless they're trying to trick you, and sometimes they'll try and trick you and give you the what? Diameter, and then you have to divide by 2 before you start. Okay? Right. Okay, and the arc length. Right? Okay. So the arc length is the curvy bit. Okay. So look from here to here, that bit there, the curvy bit there, that's called the arc. Is that okay? So to get the length of that curvy bit there, right, if it was the whole circle, it would be 2 pi r, but it's not, it's only a fraction of a circle. So 2 pi r, what do you think I'll put in front of this? Theta over 360 multiplied by, now, and I'll do an example in a minute, multiplied by 2 pi r. Now that will only give you the length of the curvy line there, right? If they ask you for the perimeter of this shape, so if they ask you for the perimeter of this sector, you'd use this formula to get the length of that line, then you'd add on the radius, and then you'd add on the radius again. But we'll see an example like that in a while. Okay? Right. So, can I take this away and do a few examples? Example 1. We just go full on, just a straight circle. Find one area, 2 length of a circle, Give your answers correct to two places decimals. Yeah. Okay, so number one, right? The area of the full circle. Off you go to your log tables and you look up the formula for the area of the circle. So the area of the circle is pi r squared, right? So that's pi multiplied by what's r? They told me the diameter was 8, so what's r? 4. So it's pi multiplied by 4 squared. Now, they didn't tell me what to use pi as, so you use the button in your calculator. So you go shift and that by 10 to the power button, which brings up pi, multiplied by 4 squared. And when you press equals, girls, your first answer, the calculator will give you 16 pi. Now that's your answer in terms of pi. So if they said give your answer in terms of pi, you're done. Okay? But they said correct to two places decimals, so you need to press S to D. Turn it into a decimal, S to D. And when you turn it into the S to D, it'll be 50.2654 dot dot dot. Okay? And I need to round that up after two places decimals, so I want to knock it off here. So I look at that, if it's 5 or more, you increase. So that's 50.27, and it's area, and it was in centimetres, so that means the area is in centimetres squared. Sorry, no, 5 or more, it increases. 4 or less, it stays the same. Okay? 4 or less stays the same, 5 or more increases. Okay? Right? Okay, same circle. Now we have to find the length of the circle, right? The length is another word for circumference, is another word for perimeter. Okay, so the length of the circle, off you go to your log tables and you get the formula for the length of the circle, and it's 2 pi r. So that's 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius, which is 4. Okay, into the calculator with that, and the first thing your calculator will put up to you is 8 pi, right? That's your answer in terms of pi, but they wanted as a decimal point, right? So you S to D it, and it's 25.1327, 25.1327 dot dot dot. They said correct to two places decimals. You want to knock it off here. That's a 2, so there's no change. So your answer is 25.13, and its length you just calculated, so it's centimeters. Okay? Yeah. No, that's 2-7, sorry. That's bad writing, 2-7. And that was a 3. Okay? But if it was 7-7, you'd be right to shout at me and give out to me, because... Right, are we good? Example 2? Can I go? Right, example 2. that okay? Yes. Yeah, sorry. Is that okay? Right, okay. So this is a sector, girls, right, which means it's a bit of a circle, right? They told me it's a circle and they just called it AOB, right? They're just the letters that are around it, so don't, AOB is nothing special, just the letters that are around it. Okay, so to find the area, I have to get the area that first, okay? So the area is, the formula is theta over 360, that tells you what fraction you have, multiplied by pi r squared. So for the whole circle it would be pi r squared, and this just tells you what fraction of the circle you have. So what's theta here, please? 60. So it's 60 over 360 multiplied by pi, and this time they did tell me the radius, so multiplied by 14 squared, right? Off you go into your calculator with that. Your answer will come up in terms of pi first, right, and s to d it. So I'll just get the answer in terms of pi also. So it's 14 squared. (98 over 3 pi). Did you put multiply signs in? Right, so sorry, I'll just bear with me a sec, just zoom in here. Right, so what I do is I press the fraction button first, so put 60 down underneath to 360, right, then come out from under the line, multiplied by shift and pi, multiplied by 14 and the squared button. Right, okay, yeah. Yeah, the calculate, you know the way we understand that when two numbers are written beside each other, they're multiplied by, the calculator doesn't understand that, you have to put in the multiply sign. Okay, right, equals, and when you put that in, girls, first it'll tell you 98 over 3 pi, right? That's your answer in terms of pi. Now, as we go along through this chapter, sometimes they'll ask you for your answer in terms of pi, so that's what you give them. Right, but if they ask you correct to how many places of decimals, we'll say, I didn't write it in, but we'll say 2, right, you just press S to D on that, okay, so it's 102.6253 ... 2 places of decimals, that's, sorry, you can't see anymore. Yeah. You could write, that's a good idea. If you write both of them and they're both written down, you can't go wrong. Right, so that's 102 point, sorry. This is just awkward because it's on 2 different sheets.
60 over 305.
360. Sorry, it got rubbed out. So that's 60 over 360 multiplied by pi multiplied by 14 squared, which turns out to be 98 over 3 pi, which is 102.625, and when you round that up, that's 0.63, and its area, and that was in centimeters, so the area is in centimeters squared. Is that okay? Make sure if they give you a unit in the area and volume, it's really important that you give the unit back. Some of the other topics you get away without it, but if they give you a unit in area and volume, they expect one back. Okay?
They give you more difficult like ones of these ones.
Yeah.
They can't make it any harder.
Sorry?
Can they make it any harder than what?
They can, but what we'll do is we'll do the easy ones first and we'll worry about the hard ones later. Okay? Right. So then part 2, girls, can I rub out part 1? Right. Part 2, same thing, it said find the perimeter, okay? So that's the distance all around. So if I start at, why would I start at A? Why would I start at B? So I go A to O, then I'd walk from O to B, and then I'd go from B back to A, right? To go the whole distance around. Is that okay? So the perimeter, so here I walk from A to O, how far am I walking? 14, right? Then I'm walking from O to B. How far am I walking? That's a radius again, isn't it? They haven't written it in. Okay, but remember the radius is always the same. That's another 14 now. And then I have to get the length of the curvy bit. Okay, so the length of the arc. So that would be theta over 360 multiplied by 2 pi r, right? And I'll show you where it is in the log table. It's in one tick. Okay, so that would be 14 plus 14 plus 60 over 360 multiplied by 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by 14, right? And you can type that as you see it into the calculator, the whole line. Not even, you don't even have to do this bit on its own, just do the whole line. So that would be, what am I? And when you put that into your calculator, it goes straight to a decimal, and I got 42.66007 and so on. Did you get that? And that would be 42.66. This is a perimeter, which is length, which is just measured in centimeters. Is that okay? Yes. Because I did, it asked me for the perimeter of the shape, not just the length of the curvy bit. You know this formula, that gives me the length of the curvy bit. But if I was to do the perimeter of the shape, I'm starting at A, and I'm going to walk over here. So I've walked 14. Then I'm going to walk out here, then I've walked 14 again. And then I go around the curvy bit, which is my formula. Okay, is that alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions for me? Right. Okay. So what we might do is we might do the page 468 to 468 to 487, 486. I'm reading it backwards to 487. Right. Let's do number 1, number 4. Yeah, for now and for homework. Number 5, and have a go at number 6. Number 6 is the problems, kind of the harder looking ones, okay? Have a go at it, okay? So page 486 to 487, 1, 4, 5 and 6. Yes. Yeah, I will, yeah. Yeah. Say that again?
So when you're finding the perimeter,
Yes.
could you just not add 14 and 14 and take them away from 360 to get the area?
No, the 360 is just to find out what fraction of the circle. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The question is 3. What's the question?
1, 4, 5 and 6. 1, 4, 5 and 6. Okay? 1, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, I'll put them up in teams and I'll put them up on the board, okay? Right? Okay, so, and I'll stop recording.